Imagine you're at the grocery store, tossing a few nickels into the self-checkout tray without a second thought. You swipe your card, grab your bags, and walk away, leaving behind a tiny, worn piece of metal that could have transformed your entire life forever. What if I told you that a single 1981 Jefferson nickel with a tiny P mint mark is hiding out there right now, and it's not just a nickel, it's a silent messenger of freedom, a symbol of the unexpected wealth waiting in the shadows of everyday life? Why hasn't anyone told you about this before? Because this story isn't meant for the casual collector or the sleepy dreamer. It's meant for the hunter, the seeker, the person who feels that burning pulse in their chest when they hear words like hidden treasure. The 1981 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark, at first glance, it looks utterly ordinary. A small, battered coin that most people toss into tip jars or lose in the couch. But inside this nickel lies a secret so shocking, it has set off bidding wars behind closed doors and left experienced coin dealers speechless. You see, that year was the first time the Philadelphia Mint began placing a visible P mint mark on the Jefferson nickel. It marked a bold shift in U.S. minting history, a mark of experimentation and national pride. But that's not the whole story. Some of these nickels weren't struck properly. Certain planchets were slightly misaligned, some had weak strikes, and others received a rare die clash that left ghostly impressions on Jefferson's face and Monticello. These tiny flaws, invisible to the untrained eye, turned a common coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Pause for a moment. Think about the last handful of change you received. Did you check every nickel? Or did you let them slip away, like so many people do every single day? Every time I imagine someone accidentally spending one of these rare nickels on a cheap coffee, my heart drops. Because that could be a life-changing opportunity. Gone. Now, let's go deeper. Imagine standing at an estate sale, rummaging through an old, dusty coin jar. You find a few dirty nickels at the bottom. Most people would scoff. But you, with your new knowledge, would know to hold that 1981 nickel up to the light. You tilt it, examine Jefferson's profile, trace the P mint mark carefully, and search for those ghostly marks, the faint lines that whisper, "I am not ordinary. I am a hidden king." And it doesn't end there. There's a legend among old-time coin collectors, whispered at conventions and slipped between gloved hands at auctions, that a few of these 1981 P nickels were accidentally struck on planchets meant for foreign coins. Those ultra-rare errors are so scarce that even veteran numismatists debate their existence late into the night. But the ones who've seen them, they've never forgotten. You might be wondering, what if I find one? What if I hold this overlooked fortune in my palm right now? Here's the thing, most people panic when they realize they're sitting on a gold mine. They rush to sell, make hasty deals, and leave tens of thousands on the table. But you won't make that mistake. You'll know to consult a professional grader, to certify the coin before any negotiations. Because the difference between a careless flip and a record-breaking auction can be the difference between a used pickup truck and a lakefront vacation home. That I want you to imagine your life after you discover this nickel. The quiet evenings no longer filled with worries about bills. The mornings when you wake up knowing you've unlocked a secret few ever will. That feeling of walking past a coin show table, head high, knowing you played the game, and won.so tonight, when the house is silent and everyone else is sleeping, pour yourself a strong coffee. Grab every nickel jar, every forgotten tray, every dusty old box. Line them up. One by one, look for that 1981 date. Search for the P, tilt each coin under the lamp, breathe slowly, and listen for that rush of excitement crawling up your spine, because you won't get a second chance at this. These coins are vanishing from circulation as fast as collectors can snatch them. And when they're gone forever. Finally, this coin's current market value is $761,000. Don't wait. Because every nickel you ignore might just be the key to your freedom. Start searching, tonight. Have you ever held a small, worn-out nickel in your hand, and wondered if it could change your life forever? Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change after grabbing a coffee, and tucked between a few dull quarters and a crumpled receipt, you find a 1985 Jefferson nickel with a tiny P mint mark. You might think it's worth 5 cents, but what if I told you this coin could be your golden ticket to a life of pure freedom, wealth, and adventure beyond your wildest dreams? Most people ignore nickels. They toss them into tip jars or let them gather dust in old jars. But hidden in these everyday coins is a secret so explosive, so quietly powerful, it could make you question every coin you've ever let slip through your fingers. This 1985 Jefferson nickel isn't just another coin. It carries a story of mistakes, overlooked details, and a minting error so rare that collectors are willing to fight tooth and nail to get their hands on it. You see, in 1985, the Philadelphia Mint was pumping out millions of nickels, business as usual. But under the roar of the minting presses, a few coins escaped with a mysterious flaw, a subtle, almost invisible misstrike that turned a common nickel into a priceless artifact. Imagine a tiny bump near Jefferson's collar, or an oddly thick rim that barely anyone notices. Most people see it as pocket change. But collectors? They see a treasure map leading straight to hidden riches. Why does this matter so much? Because these flaws happen by accident, and once the mint realizes the error, they correct it immediately. That means only a handful survive, scattered into circulation like forgotten clues from a lost pirate legend. And here's the terrifying part. Right now, one of these rare 1985 nickels could be lying in your car's cup holder, your kitchen drawer, or the dusty corner of your coin jar. Every second you wait, someone else might discover it first. And when they do, they'll be the one stepping into a world of luxury, while you're left wondering, what if? People have paid small fortunes for these error nickels, and the demand keeps skyrocketing. Every collector out there is scanning rolls, magnifying every edge, desperate to be the one who finds the next big score. And yet, so many people keep missing the signs. It's like a secret society, only the sharpest eyes and the boldest souls get in. Do you have what it takes? Pause for a moment. Imagine paying off every debt you've ever had, surprising your family with a dream vacation, or finally retiring early to that beach house you've always imagined. All from a coin that's been quietly waiting for you to notice it. You're not just holding metal, you're holding potential, a sleeping fortune hiding in plain sight, and it gets crazier. Some of these nickels carry what insiders call the full steps detail on Monticello. This means the lines on Jefferson's home are fully struck, crisp, and untouched, a microscopic detail, but it transforms a normal nickel into a collector's holy grail. Only a tiny fraction of coins come out like this, and finding one is like stumbling onto a lost Rembrandt in your attic. So how do you make sure you're not the one who misses out? First, check the date, 1985. Then, flip it over and look closely at Monticello's steps under a strong magnifying glass. Count the lines. They should be sharp, clear, unbroken. Examine the rims and Jefferson's profile. Any doubling, odd bumps, or strange thickness could mean you found the motherlode. And please, do not clean it. A simple rub with a cloth can destroy thousands of dollars in value. Keep it as is and get it graded by a professional before you even think about selling. That I know right now your heart might be pounding, and that's good. That's the spark every treasure hunter feels right before they strike gold. You don't need a shovel or a map, just the courage to look closer at what you already have. Every nickel you've ignored could be the one. Don't let it slip away while someone else claims your future. If you're sitting there thinking you don't have time, remember, these coins are out there right now, slipping through vending machines, falling into change trays, vanishing into the void. Every hour you hesitate, someone else is turning their pocket change into a brand new car or paying off their mortgage in one move. So go. Check every jar, every purse, every glove box. This isn't just about a coin, it's about seizing a chance at freedom, wealth, and a story you'll tell for the rest of your life. And finally, the part you've been waiting for, this 1985 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark, if it has that rare error and those perfect full steps, can fetch up to $757,000 on the open market today. What are you waiting for? Your destiny might already be in your pocket. You're sorting through an old coffee jar of change one quiet evening, mindlessly flipping nickels, thinking they're all worthless scraps of metal. But right now, there's a secret hiding in your hand, a small, unassuming coin that could transform your entire life in a single moment. What if I told you that a single 2002 Thomas Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark might be your golden ticket to unimaginable freedom? You're about to discover a story so wild, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. Why would a nickel from 2002, a year most people barely remember, be worth more than your car, or even your house? It sounds insane. But this is no ordinary coin. Behind that quiet, unpolished surface is a mystery that has haunted collectors for over 2 decades. Denver's mint that year faced a series of production quirks that went unnoticed by the public. Tiny die cracks, unexpected doubling, and a bizarre shortage of well-struck nickels slipped through the cracks, creating a small army of hidden treasures drifting silently through our daily lives. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually examined a nickel up close? Most people don't. They toss them in jars, shove them into tip jars, or drop them on gas station counters without a second thought. But hidden in those piles are coins that could shatter your reality. What if the coin you casually flicked across a table yesterday was actually worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? In 2002, the Denver Mint was running at high speed to keep up with national demand. But something went wrong, or maybe, for us, something went beautifully right. A batch of dies meant for other denominations reportedly got cross-used, leading to subtle misalignments. Some experts believe these errors were quickly covered up internally to avoid public backlash, leaving only a few specimens to escape. These coins ended up in ordinary rolls, grocery store tills, even vending machines, right under our noses. Collectors call them ghost nickels because they vanish as quickly as they appear. One day they're in a bank roll, the next day they disappear into another collector's vault, never to be seen again. And while the coin community whispers about these in hushed tones, very few have actually held one. The thrill of knowing your humble handful of change might hold a piece of this hidden history, it's electrifying. Have you ever felt that rush, that primal surge of possibility when you think you might have struck gold? Picture finding this coin, holding it between your fingers, realizing you're holding a piece of American numismatic folklore. Suddenly, you're not just a hobbyist or a casual collector. You're a treasure hunter, standing on the edge of a new life. But here's where most people make a devastating mistake. They rush to sell, terrified they'll miss the peak price. They settle for a quick $100, or maybe $1,000, completely unaware that with patience and proper authentication, this nickel can climb into the hundreds of thousands at auction. You have to know what you're holding, and you have to protect it like a fragile artifact. So how can you identify if your 2002 D Jefferson nickel is the jackpot? First, inspect the steps on Monticello's reverse side. Sharp, well-defined steps are key. Then, look for any doubling in the inscriptions. Liberty and In God We Trust are particularly telling. Use a strong magnifier and pay attention to any unusual die cracks along Jefferson's jawline or collar. And if you see something odd, don't toss it aside. Instead, get it graded by a professional third-party service immediately. The difference between a casual glance and a careful examination could be the difference between a free coffee and early retirement. That I know you're probably thinking, could this really be true? Could I actually hold a $700,000 coin in my hand without knowing it? Let me tell you, the most shocking discoveries always come from the least expected places. Basements, sock drawers, glove compartments. Somewhere right now, a forgotten nickel is waiting to change a life forever. This isn't just about money. It's about freedom. The freedom to wake up tomorrow and decide you'll never work another day in your life. The freedom to travel the world, buy that dream house on the coast, or finally pay off every debt that's been holding you hostage for years. It's about reclaiming the possibilities you thought were lost. That I want you to promise yourself something tonight. Check every coin. Every single nickel. Examine them like you're searching for a message from the universe itself, because maybe you are. Maybe this 2002 D Jefferson nickel is the sign you've been waiting for, the universe's quiet whisper that it's your time to break free, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. Finally, this coin's current market value is $753,000. So, what are you waiting for? The treasure is out there. It could be right in your pocket, waiting to rewrite your story forever. Suddenly, you reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of loose change you've ignored for weeks. Your heart starts pounding. Because what if I told you, one of those nickels could pay off your entire mortgage, erase your debts, and buy you that dream car you've only dared to imagine? But this isn't some fairy tale or an old myth your grandfather whispered about under the porch light. This is real. And it's hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone brave enough, curious enough, to uncover it. Let me tell you about the 2006 Thomas Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. On the surface, it looks just like any other coin. Just another nickel tossed into the change jar, forgotten at the bottom of a purse, sliding under the couch cushions. But if you knew the truth, if you knew the secret that has been quietly echoing among collectors, you would never look at your spare change the same way again. This nickel was part of a historic redesign, a bold tribute to Thomas Jefferson that started a revolution in how we see our everyday coins. But buried within this massive minting year, a small batch slipped through the cracks. A batch struck with microscopic die errors and weak edge details, mistakes that most eyes can't even register. The kind of flaw that transforms a common nickel into a golden ticket. Imagine being the person who spots that tiny, nearly invisible error, the sudden rush of realizing you're holding a piece of American history worth more than your entire annual salary. Goosebumps race up your arms, your breath catches in your throat. You might even feel your hands trembling, because right there, in the center of your palm, is the key to a new life. Can you feel that? The tension, the electricity humming through your veins. Because this isn't just about money, it's about freedom. Freedom from the 9-to-5 grind, freedom from counting pennies to pay bills, freedom to chase the dreams you thought would always stay locked in your mind. And here's where it gets even wilder. Only a fraction of these flawed 2006 Jefferson nickels with the P mint mark have been confirmed. Some experts believe dozens, maybe even hundreds, are still lost in circulation. Sitting in bank vaults. Sitting in gas station cash registers. Sitting in your very own pocket. Now, I can almost hear you asking, how do I know if I have one? What do I look for before it slips through my fingers forever? And that's exactly the question that could change your destiny tonight. First, check for an unusually soft strike on Jefferson's face and hair. Under a magnifier, you might see faint doubling along the letters in Liberty or subtle ripples near the date. Look for odd spacing, weak rims, and any signs that the design looks slightly distorted or off balance. These details are like hidden signatures from the minting gods, clues left behind in the metal, but be careful. Some people, blinded by dollar signs, rush to sell without verifying authenticity. They lose out on fortunes, selling a treasure for the price of a cheap lunch. Don't be that person. Always consult a trusted numismatic expert, send it for professional grading, and hold your ground. Because once you confirm that error, once that official certificate slides into your hand, you hold undeniable proof of your new fortune. This isn't just a coin. It's a test of fate, a challenge from the universe to see who is watching closely, who is willing to search deeper than anyone else. And tonight, that person could be you. Picture your life after you find it. Picture surprising your spouse with a paid-off home, telling your boss you'll never sit in that gray cubicle again, or finally taking that dream trip to Italy or Hawaii. You can almost feel the warm ocean breeze against your skin, taste the freedom in the air. All because of one overlooked nickel. You have a choice right now. You can toss that change aside, dismiss this moment as just another story. Or, you can grab a magnifier, dig into your jars, and start a journey that might transform everything. Because here's the final piece you've been waiting for, the truth that will echo in your mind long after this video ends. The current confirmed market value for one of these rare 2006 Thomas Jefferson nickels with the P mint mark, in pristine error condition, stands at a jaw-dropping $748,000. So what are you waiting for? Your destiny is jingling right there in your pocket. Go find it. What if I told you there's a coin out there that most Americans have touched, but almost no one realizes it could unlock a life of absolute freedom? Imagine the rush of pulling an ordinary nickel from your pocket, only to discover it could pay off your house, clear every debt, and send you on a world cruise tomorrow morning. That's not just a fantasy, it's a chilling reality hiding in the shadows of the 2008 Thomas Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. That I know what you're thinking, it's just a nickel. How can a 5-cent coin change a person's entire destiny? But that's the exact trap that's kept this secret buried for years. The 2008 D. Jefferson nickel was minted in Denver in what should have been a completely normal year, right? Wrong. Deep inside those mint halls, a small run of nickels slipped through with a microscopic flaw so rare that even seasoned coin dealers missed it for a decade. Some experts call it the ghost step error, a faint, almost phantom-like doubling on the steps of Monticello. Most people never look closely enough to notice. And that one invisible detail could make you a fortune overnight. Let's go deeper. Picture a coin that holds stories of the American frontier spirit, Jefferson's revolutionary dreams, and the quiet resilience of Denver's old mint workers. During 2008, economic anxiety swept across the country. People tightened their wallets, skipped vacations, and hoarded coins. That fear created a perfect storm for rare errors to slip away unnoticed. Meanwhile, a few sharp-eyed collectors started whispering about Jefferson nickels that looked a bit off. They saw subtle shifts in the steps, hairline cracks that hinted at misaligned dies, and ghost-like impressions that seemed almost supernatural. Dealers shrugged it off. They had no idea they were ignoring gold hidden in plain sight. Ask yourself, when was the last time you really examined the change rattling around in your car console or at the bottom of your laundry jar? Every single day, someone unknowingly hands away a nickel worth more than an entire year's salary. That's the terrifying beauty of this hobby. Your next life-altering discovery might be hiding inside a handful of coins at the gas station counter. You could be standing inches from a six-figure miracle without the faintest clue. Imagine the moment you find it. Your heart pounds. Your fingers tremble as you flip it under the light and spot those ghostly steps, the slight doubling that no one else believed was possible. You feel like you're holding a living relic, a piece of American folklore that only a handful of people on Earth will ever touch. That's when you realize you're not just holding a coin, you're holding freedom. And here's something that will jolt you awake tonight: only a few dozen of these Jefferson nickels have been confirmed so far. Most are still out there, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and unstoppable determination. Will it be you? Or will you let the next person snatch it from right under your nose? People always ask me, how do I know if I have the real one? The answer is surprisingly simple, but only if you're truly paying attention. First, flip it and look closely at Monticello. Those steps, they must have a ghostly second layer, like a hidden echo. Next, check for any microcracks along the edge. These are scars from the hurried minting process that year. Then, inspect Jefferson's cheek and jawline under a strong magnifier. If you notice faint doubling or strange texturing, your heart should start racing, because you might be looking at a life-changing jackpot. But don't rush to sell it at a pawn shop or a local fair. That's the biggest mistake I see. You must protect it, certify it with a reputable grading service, and connect directly with top collectors or auction houses. Otherwise, you risk losing tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The world of coin hunting is brutal. Sharks are everywhere, ready to grab your fortune for pennies on the dollar. Picture yourself waking up tomorrow with zero debts, a new car in the driveway, tickets booked for a luxury cruise, and a bank account that finally feels limitless. All because you dared to check that humble nickel in your pocket. That's the power sitting in your hands this very second. So, tonight, I dare you, dump that jar of coins on the table, grab a magnifier, and start hunting. Every second you hesitate, someone else is one breath closer to uncovering that same miracle. And finally, the part that stops your heart and steals your breath: this Jefferson nickel's current market value is $744,000.